Greetings, CoinCall fam. This is Professor Satoshi. Today is March 4th, 2025, and let's talk about markets. So it has been quite a volatile past couple of days. I mean, I don't think you need me to tell you that it has been quite volatile. You can see it in the charts. But let's unpack this, shall we? Um, I know there's a lot of crazy, not crazy, but just a lot of loud voices on Twitter, Reddit, YouTube. But, let's just kind of analyze what might be spooking the markets or what might be making it harder for the market to trend. Because as of right now, things are looking highly uncertain and things are changing day by day. And who knows, what I say in this video might be outdated by the time you watch it. But if you're watching this right now, I think by now the market is sort of throwing has sort of gone um, technically in a downtrend for Bitcoin, and a lot of that has to do with the perceived fear of the tariffs that President Trump is implementing on trade partners like Canada, Mexico, China, and even Europe. Like 25% or 20% tariffs. These are quite sizable, and I think the market was really thinking that it was a bluff or a negotiation tactic, and now it's suddenly a reality. So what does that mean? Does that mean 2-year bear market? I would say no. I think the market just needs to digest and price into risk markets this uncertainty and what it means for the economy, the growth. So that makes it very challenging for risk markets to rise because things are highly volatile and with a couple of tweets, President Trump could change his mind and then all of a sudden we're at 70K, or if it's no more tariffs, we changed our mind, now then we could be back at 105K, right? So it's best to stay nimble. If you're not trading this intraday on like the 30-minute or hourly, it's probably for the best for at least in the current state, because things are really not changing directionally, because I think now we know the tariffs are real, um, but they are changing quickly. Like, we're getting news that can pump the market, and then we have news that can send the market down. But I think for now it's safe to assume that we are in a downtrending market until proven otherwise. And I see 97 to 98K really the only path that this could technically look like an uptrend. But downtrend after a basically 100% move up, not the worst, right? Not the worst. Obviously, there are some levels that I would have liked for us to have held, but incredibly hard in this environment. So my assumption right now is we are probably looking at 75K to even it would be nice to bottom like at 73, but my guess is that everyone's looking at this level, and usually what happens is, and this is just a guess, but maybe spike down into it before settling and then doing a couple bounces like this. That's my current guess, and I think that happens, sometime within the month of March. So really, I should move this over. I think this move should happen within the month of March. Now, that's my view. It's very hard to have a forecast in this market right now. It's just one thing that's become clear to me that I got wrong myself is that these tariffs were not a bluff, and I thought they were a negotiation tactic. I thought that he wasn't going to do them. It turns out that he's definitely doing them, and he's not shy about that. So, but does that mean it doesn't mean doom and gloom, right? You just have to prepare. Markets can't just go up in a straight line forever. So, if anything, you should be happy that you get a chance to buy Bitcoin cheaper, right? That's how bullish you should be on an asset class, that you get to buy it cheaper when it goes down. So just be mindful and be prepared of that, right? Um, I think somewhere in between the March 2024 high and the U.S. election is fair game. I don't know exactly how it happens, but I think that is a very, very good risk reward to be accumulating Bitcoin. Should we get it? Should we trade down there, right? Could be at least like that's a 40% off sale. Um, it's kind of like if your favorite shoes go on sale in the store, you go in and rush in and buy it. A lot of people would, right? But for some reason in financial markets, when your favorite assets go on sale, people start to get afraid. It's a little bit of weird psychology there. But I'm happier and I get more bullish, as prices go down, generally speaking, right? That's my view. And what informs that view is, let's take a look at SPY, which is the ETF. I should have really pulled it up over here. Sorry, I'm going to flip-flop a little bit. So I think that S&P 500 and Bitcoin have been very, highly correlated. Excuse me, sorry. They've been very highly correlated. So I think that the S&P 500 is going to take some time to price in these tariffs, and basically it's an economic war. Now, how long it takes to price in, I don't know for sure. If I'm being completely honest, like I'm not an expert in that, but I did put I have a finger in the air estimate that we basically took we're doing it right now, right? The tariffs really started becoming uh, front and center, right around the end of January, and now it's the beginning of March, so we had a full month. So, if I, without being an expert, maybe taking a look at like 1 to 2 quarters as like a estimate, right? So 6 months maybe. That's like a safer estimate. A more aggressive estimate is that this market is starting to move so fast with the news that um, th as in like it prices in things so quickly that the other thesis, instead of like 2 quarters, is that we might be looking at a bottom in, let's say, end of March or sometime by mid-April, right? So we have the full month of February and the full month of March, and then give ourselves some leeway in April, right? For us to price in fully all of the risks associated with a global tariff war. It technically is like a form of financial warfare. So where does that land us, right? I have one scenario here, and this is just one, probably the bull case scenario, which is a 9% down from the all-time high. That would bring us right beneath the election lows when Donald Trump took office. So just call it, it's somewhere between 560, 570. Um, you know, I'm gonna give myself, at least a 1%, yeah, like a 1%, range here. Okay, I cannot predict obviously to the exact dollar, but I'm giving myself a range, an idea, right? Um, that's one idea. So 9% down, and 9% down is also similar to um, this drop that we had for the yen, right? That's just about 10%. So that's very similar to the USD and JPY volatility that we experienced last August, right? That was the carry trade unwind debacle. And I think that at that point it's a decent risk reward as well. So 560, just about right on SPY, which is the ETF for S&P 500. Um, I also think that at that point the sentiment would be would be quite soured for equities, for crypto, and that's the point when I think bears would be quite euphoric. It's sort of how, like, for crypto, January 27th, when all the executive orders and Donald Trump was inaugurated, all the bulls are screaming like, "This is it, this is it." I think the very same point for the bears, the flip side is actually around this level. Um, Now, if we don't bottom here, and maybe it's just a bounce, um, what could potentially happen in my as like the worst case scenario for me is, let's say we come down here by end of March and we bounce, we have a counter trend rally. It could be a strong counter trend rally, and then we fail and then have a bigger drop. That's something I'm preparing for. It's mainly a scenario that I am putting in the back of my mind because no, I don't know for sure how the market will perceive how bad this tariff war actually is. Um, it's very hard. I don't think anyone really knows for sure, but that would also be a very, very good buying opportunity in my view. So it's either, bottom here and then we keep going, or counter trend rally and then further down. Um, it's very, very challenging to say confidently which path it would be. Now for Bitcoin, that would look something like So we come back down to the election lows or even like above it, right? It's fair game. And then we could be bouncing, but unless the market has a reason to take new highs, consider them to just be bounces. We form like a little tabletop, come back down. We'll see about new lows at that point. Um, I'm not I'm not too sold on new lows yet, but we could see something like this, right? So by the end of March, finish this correction move, um, bounce, and then sort of form a tabletop under this range low, come back down. You know, these are the we don't make new lows, uh, and then perhaps from there we get some good news. Who knows? The Fed could come out, and then we could start a new cycle to break back into the higher end of the range. Um, it's very hard to make forecasts like these right now in this environment. Things are changing, and obviously, you know, this is just one plan that I have in mind. The other plan is a much more bearish plan, and that's like if we bounce and then we actually, you know, crack to new lows, that would be very concerning. That's not my base case right now. I think my base case is that we do find a bottom around these U.S. election prices. So the U.S. election for Bitcoin around 67,000, you know, give or take, right? 69, 68. And then for equities, that lines up with this. These are the election lows right here. No, sorry. Where's the November? Yeah, this is November right here. About 566 on SPY. So yeah, that's where my head's at right now. I think we should pay close attention to the stock market because it's very, very closely correlated to crypto and what crypto is doing. We do have a summit, a crypto summit on March 7th. So it'd be very important to see if there's any net new news. If not, I think it's going to be a sell the news. Um, they really have to mention something about buying, you know, the quantities as well. And I hope that they don't do XRP and Cardano and Solana. I really think it should just be the Bitcoin reserve, personally speaking. I don't think the other coins should be in the reserve. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't think anyone, I think even crypto natives would agree with me there. Like, it just makes no sense for like something like XRP and Cardano to be in there. So that is my current view. It's about 15-minute video so far. I would just end the video by saying, I know it's bad out there. I would say do not get, you know, too bearish because the administration, the current U.S. administration is very markets focused. They know what they're doing. I think they're front loading all of the painful things they need to do. So tariffs, job cuts in the United States, slowing down the economy intentionally, and this is causing the market to throw a tantrum or a fit. And who knows? Maybe if it goes low enough, then you know Trump will stop. Um, and if it goes low enough, maybe the Federal Reserve could step in. But I would just say one of my risks, one of my worries that I see potentially forming, and again, this is an early thought, but what if we push the economy so to such a weak state with all of these actions that the Fed cuts start to be perceived as defensive cuts and it ends up being bearish for the market? That's something I'm still thinking about. Not super sold, but it is a possibility. So keeping that in mind. I think Bitcoin will still be okay, guys, in the long run, right? In the near term, you know, next 4 weeks, the month of March, not so sure. But of course, long run, I really highly doubt we're entering a 2-year bear market. Um, it remains to be seen, but I think dips are for buying. And who knows? We might be entering a period of 1 quarter. Maybe this chop ends in like April, I would say, finger in the air estimate as like the most bullish estimate. So April, and then things clear up, right? And then the government starts to maybe wind back on the tariffs because there's been some cooperation from the Mexican government, the Canadian government, or whatever. And then all of a sudden, you know, this market starts roaring again, right? So we'll see. I think these are very interesting wicks. Um, Definitely a huge inefficiency created here. I just want to see, is that 50% of the wick? Oh, there's more. Went as low as 81K. Wow. It's a lot of price movements. Very, very big movements. All right, guys. I think that's it. I'm going to end it here. Remember, you know, don't get too bearish. Stay positive. And whenever you get the chance to buy Bitcoin at cheaper prices, we should be, happier about that, right? So I'll be waiting to try to enter around this. Again, it's a huge range, so we're gonna have to see when it comes. But I really want to see Bitcoin kind of like just chop around and then finish the correction by end of March. I'm not sure when, right? Everyone's looking at this level, 73, so maybe we spike below it, and really this pullback to around November election levels would be really nice to buy, in my opinion. And then we'll take it from there, right? One trade at a time. All right, guys, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I believe there will be a coin call space posted relatively soon. So follow us on Twitter, and be sure to tune into the spaces for more markets alpha. All right, guys, take care. Bye bye.